Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, guys. Today we're gonna talk about language. I have with me Jefferson, Gabi, Bruna, and Edna. And if you don't know me, my name is Epaminondas. I'm living in Brazil. I'm host here on TNT, and come here with us to talk in English. Um, Jefferson, please, could you introduce yourself?
Okay, good morning, my friends. I'm Jefferson. I'm living in Goiânia, Goiás, the best and most beautiful city of Brazil because I live here. I'm economist, professor of Catholic University of Goiás, and it's a pleasure today to be here to talk about learning a new language.
Very good, very good. Thank you. Edna, your turn.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Edna. I live in São Paulo, capital. I'm a professor in psychology college, and it's a pleasure talking with this group because then I improve my English, my confidence. It's very good. All right.
Thank you.
That's
Thank you
it.
so much. Bruna, and you.
Good morning, everyone. So I'm Bruna, I'm 31, I'm married, and I'm living in Dublin, in Ireland, but I'm from São Paulo, and it's a pleasure to be here with you all again. I think it's the first meeting that I'm attending this year. I was so busy, but I think I hope this week I can start again.
Yeah, good. Good to see you here. Gabi.
Hello, good morning. I'm Gabi. I'm 23 years old. I live in Belo Horizonte, Minas Gerais state, the best city of Brazil. Okay, Jefferson is my city. Biomedical scientist, and I'm also a hostess here on Talk and Talk since I guess in December of 2021, and I'm learning German, so I like it this topic today.
Very good. Very good. So let's start. And the number one is, how does learning a new language affect a person's behavior and personality? And as I said before, I brought this topic because I feel like I'm a totally different when I'm speaking English. I'm different when I'm speaking Portuguese. I don't know why. So I brought this topic to know if you are the same as like me. And I will start from Gabi. How does learning a new language affect a person's behavior and personality from your point of view?
In my point of view, I guess affect a lot because I have some behaviors in English I didn't see when I talk in Portuguese. For example, my humor in Portuguese is different than my humor in English because I know in English some humors and some slangs too didn't work as in Portuguese. But my personality, I guess, when I talk in English is more focused. Because when I talk in Portuguese, I don't know what has happened, but I talk so fast in Portuguese. And in English, when I try to talk so fast, sometimes I lost some words or I lost my point of view, you know? And talking about German, my behavior and my personality is totally different than Portuguese. I'm more seriously, I talk like a boss or something like that. In Portuguese, I'm not so serious. In English too, but in German, I need to focus more. I guess because I'm beginner, so I try to put some words in a position, a right position. So I try to keep my mind in that. But in the beginning, when I start learning English, it's like exactly like that. I'm more stuck to talk. I'm more a freezing, I guess it's a process, but in Portuguese even is so totally different than in these two languages.
Yeah, I totally feel you. I totally feel you. The same with me in English. In the past, I was more serious. So when I'm talking in Portuguese, I make a lot of jokes and things like that. But in English, I didn't have vocabulary enough to do this. So it's different. So yeah, I totally feel you. And you, Jefferson, what do you think?
I think you affect a lot because you change. When I'm speaking Spanish, for example, so different. I remember speaking Chile, Argentina, Uruguay, Paraguay, and other countries. It's so different, so amazing. You feel different because you speak at the same level. You can comprehend a lot of things about them. And Gabi talked about German. I studied German a long time ago. I have been in Berlin, Hanover, and Frankfurt. And it's so different. They are not like us, polite, and a lot of things so different. And I liked jokes, as Pamela said. I like to talk about jokes. I'm open-minded, and they are not open-minded German guys. And I think it changed a lot. I think with the English is the same. When you get confidence, you change it a lot because you can speak fluent, you can comprehend, you can talk, you can see so many things with the other guys. So and the Brazilian guys is so different when we talk about some guys from Belo Horizonte, from Minas Gerais, for example, it's like Goiás. It's so amazing. But even here, we talk with some guys from Rio Grande do Sul and Santa Catarina, so different. I think it's not like the same way here in Goiás and Minas Gerais. That's it.
Yeah, very good. Very good. Thank you. And you, Edna, what do you think about this question?
I agree totally with you. Gabi, Epaminondas, and Jefferson, because in my case it is the same. My personality is very different when I speak in English. Frequently, I feel fear. My emotion is very influencing my direction, my communication. When I speak in Italian, for example, my personality is other. My behavior is very more natural, or is my personality that is more free, and the behavior is different. In Portuguese, the same. The Portuguese, because I think, in my opinion, when I try communication in other languages, is a different forms the way, the expressions, the model, I don't know in English, way, the way, the expression, and is different. For in English, my personality is more insecure. In Italian, are more secure, in my confidence. I don't know. I imagine this secure is connected with my level the development of the language, you know, because the emotions is directly influence my behavior. That is, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah, very good. Thank you. And I'm a little embarrassed here because everybody said about other language, Italian and German, Spanish. I have to learn my next language very soon. Bruna, how about you?
I don't have other language yet, but I would try another one this year. I'm not sure. But I couldn't agree more with you all because, like you, I'm feeling not just in person, but like a professional as well. So I feel living here, I'm totally other person, you know. Like when I work in Brazil, it's easier. It's the same language, so you can go through the company, every department. So here I'm feeling stuck all the time because I'm afraid. So I'm afraid to talk clearly and to understand clearly too, because some people speak faster, and there are people around the world, so the accent is different. So it's hard to understand everybody, and I'm feel just making my job as usual. But I think for growing inside the company, it's hard because the English, like I'm studying every single day, but it is not enough. You know, I think it needs more time. And personally, my behaviors and my expressions, it's like everybody says, it is different for sure. And I'd like to be the same person, but it's impossible. And what else? Like Gabi said, we can laugh in more in Portuguese. We can understand the memes, for example. And I try to understand something in some memes on the Instagram, but sometimes I I didn't. So I'm retrying and reading it again, and I cannot get it. Yeah, it's complicated, but I feel you all. It's sad, but hopefully one day we can be the same people in the other language.
Very good, Bruno. Thank you for sharing your experience living abroad. And it's very interesting to think about. Jefferson said about confidence. Edna said about confidence. The next question is about this. So, is there a connection between the learning process of a new language and the level of self-confidence? For example, here talking about myself, when I feel more confident about the English, I don't know, but I feel more free to be myself, to make jokes and to laugh more and things like that. So there's a connection. What do you think, Gabi?
The same here, I guess, have a connection because, for example, when you start to learning, sometimes you didn't have confidence enough to talk. So you put a barrier in your speaking. So I remember when I started my English course in 2016, I guess, I put this barrier, and I spent more than 6 months to say a presentation, like my first presentation, my name, my age, where I live. So nowadays I can see I have this confidence, but now I need to put some barrier and try to learn more, to have more vocabulary. This is my problem. Vocabulary, sometimes I forgot. Even in Portuguese, I forgot a lot. But yeah, the confidence is good because sometimes you don't know the person's talk, but you know the context. And when you know the context about something, you have a time to think. Like you have a time to think, to put your words in your head and through your mouth. So it's important to have the confidence in a new language. I start French last year, but I forgot some because I have I don't know, I don't understand some, and German for me is more easy than French. So I continue German, and this week I start again French. And I didn't so much into Spanish. So sometimes it's not about confidence. It's about what you like to do and what you like to talk. For example, I know how to talk Spanish, but I don't like it. Simply don't like it. So I don't put my effortness in that. I put more in German, for example. And I don't have self-confidence enough today to have a great talk in German. I think I didn't have that enough. So it's a process, of course, but sometimes it sucks because you know how to say it, but you don't have confidence. So you stay in a hard position. You want to talk, but you don't know how. So yeah, it's stressful in the beginning, but it's a process.
Yeah, it's a process. Totally. I totally agree with you, Gabi. Thank you. Jefferson, how about you?
I think this is it's a smart question. Really, it's a connection. But I think when you learn a new language to get confidence, you must read a lot. To read a lot. I can't believe. I remember when I was studying Spanish, I used to read a lot of authors especially from Latin America, and I so many books. I used to read a lot because you must know vocabulary. It's impossible to talk. You get confidence with vocabulary. It's impossible to learn English in 1 year. I think it's impossible, or other language, because you need to read. And my strategy to get confidence, for example, I used to read about economics, and I used to read economics in French, in Portuguese, in English, a long time ago in German, not now, in German, a long time ago, Deutsch, a lot of magazine, but I used to see just something that I like, for example, economics, and I used to read in so many languages. For me, it's a way to get fluence, to get confidence. Because as I said, I don't believe you must be good at one language without reading a lot. And the next stage is to listen, to see, for example, now I have a platform that I can listen the language that I want about the news from many countries in a lot of languages. And so it's very interesting because you can understand some expressions, and sometimes not so easy. I remember the first time in the United States, I asked for a McDonald's. I ordered a McDonald's, and the guy asked for me, do you want a mayo? May. Oh my gosh, what is may? Oh my gosh, what is may? And may is mayonnaise. Yeah. In Portuguese, mayonnaise. May. Come on, may. What? No. Yes, may. You want out may or without may? That's very interesting. And I think that's it. I think the best way is, in my case, is to read. It's impossible to get confidence without read, just with few words. I don't believe in this, because you just to finish, you must to know new words, but put words in context. I don't like to in Portuguese, decoreba. I don't like this expression. No? I don't believe you can improve your language with decoreba.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the best way to learn in context. So for me, it's working a lot, and I improved a lot my English reading, as like you said, and using words in context. So it's easier to remember and it's easier to learn. Bruna, what do you think?
So yeah, I agree as well. Like Jefferson and Gabi. For me, just working with how can I say, practice. So I need to practice the reading, listening, and the speaking. Like here on Xinxi, the fluency to speak, it's very good to practice, because when you just reading and listening and don't talk, when you talk, you probably say something wrong, because you need to listening a lot and put out loud, you know. I think that's the best way for me to improve, like immersion in everything and every single day. If I could give you a tip, because if I study one day this week and another day after 1 week, I will forgot everything that I learned. And like Jefferson said about context. So if I learned one word, single word, I will forget. So I like to put on my flashcards a phrase, so it's easier for me. And the about self-confidence, just practicing, you'll get it. I think in Portuguese, when you don't know how can I do a presentation, if you don't have knowledge enough to present something, you get stuck. So you need you need to learn something and get the confidence to pass, deliver your message, you know, even in Portuguese. So another language it's harder, but yeah, I agree.
I think it's a circle. You get
Mm.
confidence and you can use your English in or other language and get
Mhm.
more confidence, and maybe it's
Yeah,
a circle.
definitely. Like you know, as facilitator here, you can deliver your message and teaching other people when you get confidence.
Yeah, exactly. Edina, and you?
Yes, in my opinion, I connections between the learning process and the level, the self-confidence. I agree totally with Bruna, and the practice is very important, you know, because in my case, when I accept my mistakes and the practicing every day, speaking, reading, listen, is the many skills, no? Is my confidence is increased. And the is that process, no? In my case, it's very important to listen every day Italian, English, and I started the French uh, when two weeks ago. I started learning French, and it's very important every day reading a small text or listen a small news. It's very important. The practice, the contact, and I feel more confidence when I practice more.
Yeah.
That's it.
You said about accept our mistakes. So it's interesting because I will skip for the number 5 because I really like this question. Can the process of learning a new language increase the level of self-knowledge? Because as you said, for example, accept our mistakes. So it's very hard to accept that we are beginning, for example, and we will make a lot of mistakes and say a lot of wrong words and things like that. So it's hard. It's hard. I don't know for you all, but it's hard to talk or wanna talk and don't do it because you are not able to do it. In Portuguese, you have the beautiful sentence to say, but it's impossible to put it out. So it's interesting. Can the process of learning a new language increase the level of self-knowledge? What do you think, Edna?
I think the same. I agreed with you, because when I more self-knowledge, more balance my emotion, and the emotions is the direct the influence, more influence more influence in the process. When I participate in with more feel or insecure, is my emotions is dominating and my cognitive process. My memory is reducing, my is block my brain, and when I accept in this is a process. I make mistakes and I listen after the frequently when I participate in the TNT. I listen and watch my video. And oh my gosh, now more mistakes and no problem. Is the process. Oh, and is very important for the balance, the emotion.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Thank you. Jefferson, what do you think?
Yeah, it's a very interesting question. In my case, about level of self-knowledge, I used to read a lot. For example, if I go to Paris, I used to read a lot in French about Paris, how is Paris, food, customs, and a lot of things. I think this is very important to increase the level of my self-knowledge. This is a kind of strategy that I use when I go to another country, or even here in Brazil. I think it's very important to read about the place that I want to go, because I want to know some expressions, some food, something that's very different, so I can improve my self-knowledge. And I think that's it. The process of new language, you must to read to improve your self-knowledge. And I improve a lot. I love, for example, when the last time I have been in Chile, I used to read a lot about the Chile, about the country, etc., etc. When I arrived there, it's like I have been in Brazil here, talk with my friends, because I knew about everything, about the flag, the language, even some slangs, special slangs, and I use. So for me, this is amazing. I don't like to go to another place. Just to finish, the same, when I go to Rio Grande do Sul, I love to read some expression from Rio Grande do Sul because sometimes not so easy. I can say some things not good to say there, but we can talk here in Goiás. That's it.
Yeah, yeah, very good, very good. Thank you. Bruna, and you, what is your opinion?
So yeah, I think the self-knowledge increase when we learned another language, like going to a new places. So it's very, very important to ourselves in general. And talking about language, like Edna said, about accepting our mistakes. So I think it's very important, and you can control our emotions or anxious. Like in the beginning, I I preferred to don't speak in a classroom, like just to watching because I'm very shy person, but I prefer to stay just watching, didn't say nothing. When I need to walking around, I need to talk something and I was stuck and I was thinking, wow, I need to put out, So like here, always we need to talk. So it's very important. Even we are afraid and getting stuck, we need to talk because it's the best way to improve our speaking. No, so we need to accepting our mistakes and like Edna said, I remember when I was watching my first video here on TNT, I was thinking, Jesus, it's terrible. Oh my gosh, I hate it. So now it's okay. So it's normal. Everyone's passing for the same situation. So it's not, I'm not alone. So it's easier to understand and accepting the process. So it's funny, but in the past it was, I was trying to trying to into the TNT, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm on YouTube. It's impossible. No, I'm afraid. Oh, I don't like to open the camera. So yeah, so now it's okay. That's fine.
Yeah, I feel you. I prefer don't watching my meetings after my my meetings here on YouTube because
Yeah, I
maybe to
understand.
make a good comparison, maybe,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't like.
Yeah,
I don't like so
yeah,
much.
neither.
Yeah.
I don't
Gabi,
like to,
go ahead,
if
Jed.
I'm not, I don't like to, but is interesting because an observation many things, and when it is the moment, my observations is decreased because my pay attention in other things. It's very interesting, but I don't like to.
Yeah, sometimes here we are thinking and paying attention of the meeting and things like that, and we are talking different things and making a big confusion in our mind. So maybe after when you start and watch, you realize that, oh, I wouldn't say this or I wouldn't say that, things like that. So, but okay, for me it's okay, but I prefer don't watch.
And in my opinion, the good point is when we can see the evolution, like the growing. I don't know the exact word, but we can realize that the improvements.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good way to compare ourselves with ourselves. So,
Yeah.
and Gabi, how are you?
So, talking about the talk and talk, my first meeting here, the name of the platform was Water. So I think my video was a little bit older, and I can't watch this video again. But about the self-knowledge, yeah, I agree totally with Edna and Bruna said about the confidence and patience. That's something I learned with new language is to have patience, because you fall in some moment. You'll not be able to do something in the time. But I always remember a phrase. I don't remember who put this phrase, but it's like, do your thing with the knowledge you have today. If you didn't have a knowledge enough to do, I think, more, so you need to rise and build your knowledge. Don't forget about your past, your present, and your future. Because if I look to my past, I'm learning English for 8 years, 9 years, don't know, something like that. And sometimes I feel like, no, that's sad. I don't remember phrase, I don't remember the grammar, I don't remember how to put something in the specific local. And I guess it's a self-knowledge. You know you're not good today. You know probably you don't say what you want to say, but you do. So you do because you know how much times you spend doing that. In the future, you feel like, oh gosh, now I can express myself. So I guess self-knowledge is related with the girl said about process and patience, because you don't spend 6 months and be a linguistic person. No, you spend more and more and more. Even in Portuguese, I spent more than 10 years to speak, because I passed 10 years of my life in a school, middle school and high school, and more 4 years in university. So you need to think in your mother language. You are specialized as your mother language? Probably not. So I stopped to think I want to be perfect, because perfection is different than constance. So I always have this self-knowledge about myself. I'm not perfect. Sometimes I will fall, but I try again, because I don't have choice, and I need to try. Because you need to try until you achieve your goal. And my goal is not achieved enough yet and enough. So I will try to achieve it. And I put that in my mind. Don't be perfect, because you need to grow, not be a robot. So I grow. And in some moment I feel like, okay, now I'm good.
You
Very
must
good.
do like Dilma Rousseff. You can't achieve your goal, you must change your goal.
Yeah.
I think it's the best way.
Keep open to double your goal. Guys.
Gabi, is very important. You said the perfectionism. No, when I reduce the perfectionism, is a very good in the process of the learning, because in my case, two things is important in my development: reduce my perfectionism and accept my mistakes as the very, very good. Because when the day by day, I reduce my perfectionism and then accept my mistakes, as I feel I increase my learning. My mind is very free, and my memory is better. It's very important for me is two things is very important. That's it.
Yeah, yeah, good tips. I have nothing to add, Gabi. So thank you so much for sharing. And the number 6 is, how does language acquisition influence a person's communication skills? And thinking about English or other language, but even in Portuguese. What do you think, Jefferson?
Well, a language acquisition, I think not influence my skills, because I have skills about a lot of things. I can communicate it, even in Portuguese, the way I communicate it, about my language, vocabulary, grammar, etc., blah, 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 blah. I think it's very important the way I communicate it. I think in your life you must to have to have the best way to communicate. You can communicate by the voice, you can communicate by your body, you can communicate about a lot of things. And the language, if you speak 3, 4, or 6 language, I can influence, I think the best way to improve your skills about your communication. And I think my case and Edna, I think it's the same as a professional. You must have a lot of strategy to communicate it. Huh? Yeah, especially, for example, communicate with the eyes. It's very interesting. To draw attention about a lot of things. And I think language, for me, it's maybe, I think not. I think the most important thing, you have develop your skills. And if you can speak a lot of language, it's okay. It's so nice. But it can influence, I think it can't influence.
Very good, thank you. And for you, Gabi, you agree? You think different?
So I agree in some parts, but I disagree in others. But I think the language acquisition influence your communication. And I agree with Jefferson when Jefferson said about your body language come first than when you open your mouth. Because sometimes you feel quiet, but your body language say everything about you. So it's really, really awesome to read about it, know about it. I think it's a communication skill when you know the body language of the other. I want to know, but I don't know. Sometimes I feel confused. But the language acquisition influence you and sometimes can influence others. I give an example. I guess no one does think like that, but when you are here as a hostess or as a host, you influence person to have the communication. You put an input in this person, like, go ahead, talk. Because if I put a lot of persons who want to talk in English without a person who guide these persons, like 90% of chance whoever one feel in silence. Everyone in the first 10 minutes feel in total silence. Or some persons talk and other not. I guess language acquisition influence yourself to see the word and see how to put that in other persons. For example, you know the English is a language you use in your areas, in your fields of your life. You need to use English. If you want to read a specific book, probably the book is in English, or a movie who didn't come in Brazil yet. So you need to have this language acquisition. Nowadays, we can see English is not a language you read because a hobby. You read English because it's a necessity nowadays. It's a word language, so you need to know. And I guess this influence for persons to achieve, to try to build this language. I talk here about English, but other language like Spanish and French was a universal language too, like by ONU, I guess, is English, French, Spanish. I have one, but I don't remember. I don't remember. I guess it's Korean. I don't remember. And we need to have this influence. And I said influence, not put the other person, putting other person mind who need, but influence like if you start to learn in language like English, probably sometimes your life be more easily. I don't know, you have more knowledge on internet about it. So yeah, I think it's important to have these communication skills.
Very good. Thank you so much. In my case, I used the learn process of a new language to overcome my fear to speak in public. For example, it was good for me because when you are learning a new language, you have to overcome some fears, for example, to make mistakes and things like that. So it's a hard process. And if you are able to do it in English, in a second language, in Portuguese is easier, at least for me. So it changed a lot my communication skills because I'm feel more free to have a good communication, and I had to improve my skills about how to guide the conversation and to be open for other ideas and to listen more. And it's interesting. It's interesting for me, improved a little bit. And you, Bruna, what do you think? What was your experience?
I agree with you on this about communication. English helped me a lot. In general, because the shy, I'm a shy person, and I agree a little bit with Jefferson and Gabi too. Like I think in Portuguese we can influence people for sure, but like Gabi said, if you're looking for something at first, you need to search in English. So more people, and it's a global language. So it's important for everybody, you know. I think it's the quality can be the same in Portuguese or in another language, but in English, I think we can reach many people around the world, you know. So I'm not an influenced person even in Portuguese, but I think there are many people in English and many languages influencing other ones. So in some way, I think it's important and influence a lot. Mm, I think it's it depends of the topic and the people and the audience. So in general, I think it's totally influence communication.
Very good. Very good. Thank you. Edna, your turn.
I think, in my opinion, is in my case is very interesting. When my professional is professor, and I developed communication is very in Portuguese, and this is simple for me. But when I try communications in other languages, I observed that in my case, I constructed my structure of the languages more simple, more direct. This is influencing by my communication Portuguese. Do you understand? Because I have constructed simple phrases, because my vocabulary is not a big vocabulary. And when I need expression more direct, objective, objective way. And is this behavior influencing my communication in Portuguese? It's very interesting. I observe it, and it's very good because in Portuguese, and frequently I am a detailist person. Is very, very bad, in my opinion. In this day, I am very objective of my direct. This is very good for me. And that's it.
Good, very good. It was my big challenge when I started to learn English, because in my mind, I try to build a big sentence and to a big idea, but I was not able to do it. So it was hard to say simple phrase, simple sentence, when my mind, I had a big sentence. So to become a more directive, maybe person, I don't know, but to say simple words, it changed a little bit my way to communicate. So it was good. It was good when I understand that, okay, if I wanna have a good conversation, I need to say simple sentence, because the people will understand me and I will be able to do it, and I don't feel down because of that. So my flow of the language process I don't know, it was better for me. So yeah, this process, it's a challenge for me in my beginning, and now, even now, as you can see right now, for example. Guys, there's a survey, so please click on the survey, and if you want to suggest some topic, it will help me a lot. Please share with me your ideas, your feelings, your emotions in this formulary. And yeah, that's it. Our time is running out. So someone would like to add something? Yes, no? Okay. So guys, see you next week. Have a great day. Have a great week, and see ya.
Thank
Bye.